Good evening, family. How are you? I am doing wonderful. I wanted to come on and do a video, actually, a book review. I am well overdue for doing a book review. I normally do them every 2 to 4 weeks, give or take, and I have not done one in quite a while. And so I'm well overdue. I like to share, always like to share my book collection and my continued book collections because I am a big avid reader. And in this very inquisitive environment now that we're in, where we are learning all of this stuff, or relearning and remembering all of the stuff that are very relevant to our people. And a lot of things, a few things I'll say, is new to us, maybe things that we never knew. And then there's a lot of things we knew, but we forgot. And they did all kinds of stuff to make us forget. And so now we're remembering and we are learning, relearning. And so I collect books and I read and on several different topics, all that ties into our, the ascension that we're experiencing and the empowerment of our people and the empowerment of the world. Actually, I collect books on all of those topics surrounding that. And so I have a collection today that I want to talk about. It's about 6 books, I think. And the books that I'm going to mention today are these are titles pretty much referencing the Nueromelanated and different topics around our people. And so I'm just going to jump right into it, guys, so I won't be too long. So let me put my eyes on. And I'm going to start with the first book I want to start with is a book called White Rage by Carol Anderson, The Unspoken Truth of Our Racial Divide. This book is a National Book Critics Circle Award winner, and I want to show it to you. It's called White Rage, a very popular book. I have not read this one yet, but it is a New York Times Notable Book of the Year. It was Notable Book of the Year, a Washington Post Notable Nonfiction Book of the Year, and a Boston Globe Best Book of 2016, a Chicago Review of Books Best Nonfiction Book of 2016. So it's very notable. It's a popular book, and I've heard about it for quite some time. Praise for White Rage. The Washington Post says a sobering primer on the myriad ways African American resilience and triumph over enslavement, Jim Crow, and intolerance have been relentlessly defied by the very institution entrusted to uphold our democracy. It's a very interesting book, and like I said, I've been hearing about it for quite some time, and I finally decided to pick it up. But it's one that I would recommend you guys do a review on and possibly add into your library. And again, it's called White Rage by Carol Anderson. Might be one you want to pick up. That's number 1. Number 2, this book is called Brainwashed by Tom Burrell, challenging the myth of Black inferiority. With uncompromising courage, Burrell has created an indispensable book for our time that was quoted by Susan L. Taylor. Black people are not dark-skinned white people, says advertising visionary Tom Burrell. In fact, they are much more. They are survivors of the Middle Passage and centuries of humiliation and deprivation, who have excelled against the odds, constantly making a way out of no way. At this pivotal point in history, the idea of Black inferiority should have had a going out of business sale. After all, Barack Obama has reached America's promised land. So, and that's what Burrell is saying. So this is a book that I think will offer some really, really, really good information. And sometimes we'll get information and it may be that, not everything in the book may resonate with you, but there's enough in the book that qualifies it for maybe your interest to where you want to go pick it up and add it to your library. So again, it's called Brainwashed, Challenging the Myth of Black Inferiority. So I've seen some really good reviews on this book, and so I decided to pick it up because I'm pretty sure there's some information in there that I can use. So you might want to consider Brainwashed, again by Tom Burrell. The third book is Huey P. Newton, Revolutionary Suicide, introduced in an introduction by Frederica Newton. Revolutionary Suicide. This book has been recommended to me on several occasions by several people. And a lot of the stuff that we see as the harsh information, the very strong content that many of us may have a hard time accepting. A lot of times we have to get that material from certain authors or certain people out here in the struggle. And so Huey P. Newton wrote this book, and it's a book that I think you want to pick it up if you look like me. To understand revolutionary suicide, it is first necessary to have an idea of reactionary suicide. For the two are very different. Reactionary suicide is the reaction of a man who takes his own life in response to social conditions that overwhelm him and condemn him to helplessness. So you have people that have been in the struggle for a very long time, and many of them who are no longer with us, but they left information that is very critical, and it would be very helpful if we would engage and accept the information. So this is a book that I anticipate reading, and again, it's a very powerful read via reviews, very strong read, very strong information. Like I say, information that you might not get in most places, but you'll get in a book like this. And again, Huey P. Newton's Revolutionary Suicide, and this is what it looks like. And I would recommend you checking out the reviews and possibly purchasing that book. Also, book number 4, this is called The Untold Story of the Carbon Baby. And this book, I can't wait to get into this book. I just really can't. It looks like a pretty easy read, too. Sometimes I read 2 and 3 books at a time. So, guys, I'm always anticipating starting a new book. So I think this is going to be one I'm going to be starting really soon. This book was written by Heru Haynes. If there ever was an opportunity to peek behind the veil that separates this reality from the splendor and wonder of nature's imagination, then this is that occasion. How long have black people wandered in the dark about their origins and what makes them who they are? How long have the same people fought desperately to define themselves, angered by exhaustion because they failed to recognize themselves and nature as having the same identity? I assure you that as of this very moment, the wait is over. This book is a very, 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 it's gotten to become a very popular book. I'm hearing about it more and more. And again, it's called The Untold Story of the Carbon Baby. And my understanding, it's a book about us and our makeup and a whole lot more. So you may want to look at the reviews and consider picking up The Untold Story of the Carbon Baby by Heru Haynes. Book number 4. So book number 5 was written by Tariq Nasheed. Tariq is an author and he don't like to be revered as a leader, but he leads. He teaches and advises and supports and all of that good stuff. And he's a big supporter of the Nueromelanated family. And he also is the author of the movies. Let me see the name of the movies. oh, I can't even think of the name of the movies as well as I've looked at all of them. But anyway, let's talk about the book, and then I'll tell you about the movies here in a minute. Foundation of Black American Race Baiter. He's the author of this book. It's a fairly new book, and I'm understanding it's beginning to sell like hotcakes. Racism is the most powerful system on the planet, yet it is often perceived as the most taboo subject to discuss. That's a fact. Most of us know that. Nobody wants to talk about it. In this book, Foundation of Black American Race Baiter, world-renowned influencer Tariq Nasheed gives his honest and sometimes controversial perspectives on race relations. Tariq is some people see him as somewhat radical. I just think he rises to the occasion. If you respect him and engage him in a respectful manner, then he'll be respectful to you. But if you make him angry or really agitate him, he can be a little petty sometimes, and he'll tell you that. But I followed Tariq, and I followed him for years. He is the author of the Hidden Color series. I don't know why I couldn't think of it earlier. As much as I've watched Hidden Colors, I've watched them over and over and over so many times. That's a series, guys, that you want to also include in your library if you don't own them already. The most powerful documentary series that I have ever seen in my life. Hidden Colors. You want to check them out if you are not familiar with that series. You will not regret it. But this book I am anticipating getting into, called The Foundation of Black American Race Baiter. It's really I've seen great reviews on this book, and knowing Tariq Nasheed, as well as I know him, in the media and followed him for so long, if this book is half as great as his movies, you want to add this to your library. Okay. So this is all about the Nueromelanated in this book review. And so the last book that I want to highlight for you tonight is the book called Skin, A Natural History with a New Preface. It's called Skin. Let me let you take a look at it. By Nina G. Jablonski. Nina Jablonski gives us the best account of everything you might want to know about the packaging of our anatomy. Jared Diamond, author of Collapse in Guns, Germs, and Steel. Quote, this book, we expose it, cover it, paint it, tattoo it, scar it, and pierce it. Our intimate connection with the world. Skin protects us while advertising our health, our identity, and our individuality. This dazzling synthetic overview is a complete guidebook to the pliable covering that makes us who we are. Skin, A Natural History, celebrates the evolution of 3 unique attributes of human skin: its naked sweatiness, its distinctive sepia rainbow of colors, and its remarkable range of decorations. Jablonski places the rich cultural canvas of skin within its broader biological context for the first time, and the result is a tremendously engaging look at us. I think this is one you want to read the reviews and consider adding to your library. I get a lot of good reviews about this book, and I think the topic is broad, but it gets very specific in certain chapters about us. It was highly recommended. I read the reviews, and I decided to add it to my library. So I'm going to suggest that you read the reviews and consider, that the reviews excite you, consider adding it to your library as well. And it's called Skin. So that's 6 books. I'm going to run back through them once more very quickly. And if you're anything like me, I love to read, like I said before, and I'm always adding to my collection and always excited about ending one book and opening another. So again, the six books in order: White Rage by Carol Anderson, Brainwash: Challenging the Myth of Black Inferiority. Y'all know they hid a lot of information about us, and it's time for us to remember it or relearn it so that we can move in the direction that we should be moving in. Huey P. Newton, Revolutionary Suicide. I can't wait to get in this one. I know this one's going to be really good. A lot of the material we may be already familiar, but there's always something in there we can take. The Untold Story of Carbon Baby by Haru Haynes. Then Foundation of Black American Race Baiter by Tariq Nasheed. And last but not least, Skin by Nina G. Jablonski. So those are the 6 books I want to highlight tonight, guys. I have a collection. I got to play catch up. So I plan to do more book reviews sooner than later, because I should have already done 2 or 3 by now. I'm so sorry, guys, because I know I promised to do them. And a lot of my followers, they are waiting to hear about these books. They, a lot of times there's a lot of material out there. There's a lot of means of learning. And I know many of my books I may not have known unless somebody did a review or somebody highlighted it on YouTube or somewhere, and then I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness, and I'll go do a review and I end up purchasing it. So this method is a lot of how I am becoming familiar with certain books and how I, end up buying them. So it is important, and so I want to get back on a roll of getting my book reviews out so you guys can, see what else is out there, because there's always some good material. And so a lot of the ways to learn about it is when we do these reviews on the system. And so I am delighted to be able to share my collection with you, and I hope that something in that collection catches your eye and you'll go ahead and do a review and possibly purchase and add them to your library. This is the way that I help my family gain knowledge. So I hope that you guys will consider those good reads. And I just wanted to come on and do this review tonight. I'll do another one in another couple of weeks is my plan, and I'm going to try to keep it going because I know I'll get a message from some subscribers and they're asking me, when will you do another book review? So guys, I'm going to get better with that. I appreciate you coming on to listen, and I want to ask you guys, as I always do, I want to ask you to like the video, because when you like it, others can see it. Share, because when you share it, more people can see it, and I thank you so much for that. I want to ask you to also click the notification bell so that you can continue to get the material if any other material that I put out resonates with you. And I really appreciate you for that. I'm going to sign out now, though. I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum to you. Namaste, Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. Guys, always remember to get your sun. Stay in peace. Keep your chin up. And know that I love you guys very, very much. So, peace be unto you. Until next time, I am going to say bye-bye.